Hi and welcome everyone to another video on this channel. Today I'm gonna show you some early wildcard drafts for Gameweek 30, and also we're gonna discuss a little bit about possible blank and double game weeks. And as usual, if you enjoy this type of content, please consider giving a like and subscribe to this channel. But now let's get into it. Okay, so firstly, before showing you some of my wildcard drafts for Gameweek 30, I just wanted to discuss a little bit the fixtures for the FA Cup quarterfinal, because as you may know, they have a big implication in our future plans in FPL. And obviously still there is really a long way to go till game week 30, and I suggest you to try to avoid making any early transfers, because as you may know, there's a big international break for 2.5 weeks. And yeah, there's really no point in making early transfers from my point of view, at least. Now I just wanted to discuss a little bit early. If you want to, you can just take a break from FPL, but I think we can get some information here. If you didn't saw already, these are the games for the quarterfinal of the FA Cup, and obviously they have a big implication in our plans. And why is that? It's because, as you can see, the winners from these games are probably going to blank in game week 34. That's what we know so far at the moment, and that blank obviously is gonna cause that team to have a double game week. Now, what we try to predict, thanks to Ben Krellin, as you can see, credit goes to him and to Planet FPL, all those guys who are helping us with the fixtures, with the blank game weeks, double game weeks. Check them out if you want to. Obviously, the prediction usually is that the teams who are gonna win these quarterfinals, who are gonna go to the semifinals, are gonna blank in gaming 34, and some of those teams are gonna double also in gaming 33. Now, this information is not 100% sure, because there is also some implication from the teams who are still playing in Europe. For example, the teams who don't have any European games, their game could be rescheduled in a midweek. So what that says is that some teams could have their double game weeks moved to another game week, 32, 33, 34, 37. So yeah, that's the thing. Now at the moment we don't know exactly the schedule, and that's why myself and many other people are trying to delay our wild card to game week 31. And that's why because in game week at the end of game week 30 we're gonna know which teams are gonna go through to the semi-final. But the problem is that schedule is really tight, and we're not gonna get the double game weeks and blank game weeks announced at the end of game week 30. So that's the thing. Now obviously we don't know that percent, maybe we'll get them, maybe not, but the chances are by the end of game week closer to the deadline of game week 31, we're gonna know the full schedule. So that's why, if you can still save your wildcard, my advice would be, if your team is fine to play, I would suggest you try to save your wildcard. Now obviously let's talk a little bit about the fixtures. As you can see, it's Bournemouth against Man City. I highlighted a little bit with a star the teams who are favorite to go through. That's not my prediction, that's the bookies prediction. And obviously those teams are favorites to go, but we don't know what's gonna happen. I don't need to sit here and tell you that Preston can win against Aston Villa, Bournemouth can win against Man City. But if we look at the predictions at the moment, City, Aston Villa, Brighton and Crystal Palace are favorites to go through, and mostly Brighton and Fulham, because they are playing at home. Now obviously if the other teams are gonna win, the things are gonna change a little bit, but I'm gonna try to do a wildcard draft with those predictions. But what we can take from here is that if you're wildcarding in game week 30 or 31, you need to obviously have some players from these teams. We know already that there's a double game week in game week 32 for Crystal Palace and Newcastle. So definitely, if you're wildcarding game week 30 and 31, you need to have a lot of players from Newcastle and Crystal Palace. Hopefully that helped you a little bit with your chip strategy. Now let's go and see the other implications who we're gonna get from these fixtures. Okay, so as I said before, and you may know, the FA Cup quarterfinals have a really big implication on our plans, our future FPL plans. As you can see, these are the fixtures, these are the teams who are possible to blank in game week 34, and obviously we talked a little bit about the teams who are gonna go through to the semi-final. Now obviously it depends also on which team they are playing in game week 34, because obviously the same applies to them. For example, if Brighton are gonna go through to the semi-final, they were supposed to play against West Ham at home, and because of that, West Ham is not gonna have a fixture in game week 34, and they are gonna have also a double game week alongside Brighton, if that makes sense, hopefully. Now probably you're in a little bit of a fog, but as you can see, and as I said before, we hope to have the full schedule before game week 31, so that's where I am planning to use my wildcard. But at the moment, if you're wildcarding game week 30, just wait to see who are the teams who are gonna go through to the semi-final, and from there you can make your wildcard draft. Now, as I said before, for example, as you can see, City and Aston Villa was supposed to be a fixture in game week 34. Now, obviously, that means if any of them are gonna go to the semi-final, probably they are gonna have a double game week and a blank. And also that's the fixture with the highest chance of happening. That's because City are playing Bournemouth and also Aston Villa are playing Preston, and they are likely to win that game. So probably this fixture, Man City Aston Villa, is not gonna be on in game week 34, and that's why we need to make some plans from for which players we're gonna get from Man City and Aston Villa. You can do that later, but at the moment let's see the wildcard drafts. Okay, so this is my first wildcard draft for game week 30. Now I just want to tell you that it's really hard to make a wildcard draft, considering that we don't know which are the teams who are gonna go through to the semi-final. But this video could also be helpful for you, because we're gonna take a look at some key players who you want to have in your team, either if you're wildcarding game week 30 or 31. These are players who are gonna be really good for the future. Now I have another draft, so don't worry if in this draft you don't see Haaland. I just wanted to try something different here. As you can see, I have still 1.3 millions in the bank. In this draft, I gone with Raya and Verbruggen. Now, as I said before, Fulham are favorites to go to the semi-final. They are playing at home against Crystal Palace. If that's not gonna happen, what that would make, that would mean that Arsenal and Crystal Palace are gonna have probably a double game week in game week 33. So Crystal Palace have the chance to have a double game week in game week 32 and 33. So as I said before, I think that if you're wildcarding game week 30, you need to have, in my opinion, 6 players from Newcastle and Crystal Palace, because they double in game week 32. Obviously, you can go with 4 or 6, and you can have someone like Bruno Fernandes or Palmer if you want in this draft, and just in game week 32 you can buy someone like Eze. So basically you can buy someone like Eze, Gordon, players from Crystal Palace, Newcastle along the way. But why I put 6 players here in my draft is because I think that free transfers are gonna be really useful in this period of time. And obviously I don't know exactly which chips you have remaining. I don't know how many free transfers you have, because yeah, if you have 5 free transfers stacked on your team, now then you can go with just 4 Newcastle and Crystal Palace players. As you can see in this draft, I gone with Munoz, Eze, and Mateta. I think that at the moment this is the best trio of players from Crystal Palace. Now, obviously, you can go for someone like Sarr if you want to, or let's say you don't have enough budget to go for someone like Eze, then you can go with Sarr, or you can go with double up in defense with Henderson. Now, as I said before, um, if Crystal Palace are gonna beat Fulham away, which is a real possibility, Crystal Palace and Arsenal are gonna double in Game Week 33, um, because that was the fixture for Game Week 34. Now I picked Raya. Obviously, I picked also Verbruggen because I think that the fixtures for Brighton are decent. He's a cheap option, and also there's that possibility for him to have a double game week in Game Week 33. Now with Newcastle, I gone with Isak, Burn, and Gordon. Now Gordon is not gonna play in Game Week 30, so if you want to have him in your first 11, you just don't need to go with him. But the thing is, he's gonna be available again in Game Week 31 when Newcastle are playing against Leicester, and I think that again this is Gordon and Isak are the best attacking players you want from Newcastle for these double game weeks. And obviously in defense you can go for someone like Livramento, you can go for someone like Trippier if you have enough amount of cash. But I picked Burn in this draft. Obviously didn't he doesn't really matter, but he has also some attacking threat. Now, as I said before, I would take the risk with Gordon. Obviously, he's not going to play for you in Gaming 30, but you're going to have him for Gaming 31 and double Gaming 32, and I think that he's a great option. If you want to, you can go for someone like Bruno Fernandes and just buy Gordon in Gaming 31 if you want to, and if you have enough transfers. Here also, I picked Vardiol. Here, City are gonna play against Leicester at home, so I don't really need to talk to you about that being a really good fixture because you know that. I picked Vardiol and Marmoush. I think that obviously don't expect Marmoush to score the same amount of points as Haaland. Now I don't say that it can happen because it totally can. We saw that last game week, but with Haaland, you know that he's on penalty. He's gonna play 90 minutes every game week. And yeah, obviously he's a lot more expensive. And I think that Marmoush is a really nice option considering that also City are gonna have a double game week probably in gaming 33 and maybe in gaming 36 also. So I think that some assets from City are valuable. Here I gone for Gabriel and Raya from Arsenal. Bukayo Saka could again be an option. He's close to training. Now we don't know exactly at the moment when he is gonna be fit, but he could be also an option for this double game week. At the moment I included Bowen from West Ham. There is also a chance for West Ham to have a double game week. And yeah, another consideration could be someone like Areola from West Ham because he's a really cheap goalkeeper and also the same. He maybe is gonna have a double. Now, on my bench, I have also Konsa. Obviously, you don't really need to go with him, but as I said before, Aston Villa are almost guaranteed to have a double game week. You don't need to stack up with three Aston Villa players because the fixtures are not the best for the near future, and we need to target other players. But for Game Week 33, you need to have some, and in this draft I just put Konsa in advance, and you can just have him on your bench at the moment. But this is my first draft for Game Week 30. So many things can change in 2 weeks in the international break. And yeah, let's see another draft with Erling Haaland. Okay, so as you can see here, I tried to do a wildcard draft with Erling Haaland in my 11 and in my team. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that it's a bad idea to go with Marmoush or to go with Haaland. I have Haaland in my team, but I'm not gonna wildcard, so obviously I don't have that problem. And yeah, I'm still not sure if I want Haaland or Marmoush in my Gameweek 30 wildcard. Now, as you can see here, I switched a little bit some players. I put Areola in goal. um, West Ham have a chance of doubling in Gameweek 33, and that's because Brighton have also a chance to go to the semi-final. So if Brighton are not gonna go to the semi-final, then they are not gonna blank. In this draft, I have also João Pedro from Brighton. Obviously, I had to find some funds to afford Erling Haaland, and obviously João Pedro is really cheap. I know that he was a really annoying pick, but the fixtures are not bad from Brighton. If we take a look, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Leicester at home, that's a really nice run of fixture, and also considering that he could also get double gaming, then he could be a great option on your bench boost. Now, I don't know, as I said before, your chip strategy, I don't know all your strategies. We need to take so many things into consideration when wildcarding, because if you would wildcard, if you would use your bench boost in Gameweek 32, then your wildcard obviously would be with 6 players from Newcastle and Crystal Palace, for example. If you want to use your free in Gameweek 33, then you don't really care about the having players who are gonna double in Gameweek 33, because you're gonna put them on your free. So yeah, I hope that you understand me. Now the team pretty much it's the same. Munoz, Guardiol and Gabriel in defense. Here I put Huijsen from Bournemouth. The fixture is great in Gameweek 30, and also from Newcastle, here we have Livramento and Jacob Murphy. If you don't want to go for Gordon, or if you don't want to go with 3 players from Newcastle, you can just pick another player. This draft left me with 0.6 millions in the bank, so you can buy someone like Rogers if you want to for the double. In midfield, we have Bowen, Kluivert, Sar instead of Eze, because I really need the funds to get Haaland, Salah, Haaland, Isak, and my other goalkeeper is Jose Sa in this draft. Now, obviously, it's still early. We need to discuss a little bit more. Now, take a little break from FPL if you want to, and then you're gonna find me with more FPL content in the next weeks. And hopefully, if you made it till here, thank you so much. I really appreciate it for taking your time. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, subscribe to this channel if you're new, and I'm gonna see you next time. Bye.